you're reminding me to do that. All right. So anyway, here we are with trees. So let me repeat that really quickly. So our problem with trees is we think of trees as straight, up and down, flat things. And we try, when we create patterns, we do not think about what a tree is organically actually doing. So in reality, trees grow in pieces, both the trunk, right? And it gets wider in places. Trees shift direction a lot. So a trunk might do something like this. And branches will start a piece, you'll see a piece of a branch coming like straight out, and then another piece kind of going up like this, right? So, and then sometimes branches will be coming towards you, and other times they'll be moving away. So one of the things that we're going to talk about in this first lesson and practice is structure of the trees and the trunk and what is actually happening and how to kind of handle some of those perspective issues. If that sounds scary, don't worry, it's not. I'm just using words and I'm just defining our terms. And I want you to just do the best you can, because I feel like that is the best. So go ahead and take a piece of paper out. Before we get into this tree, we're going to look at, and I'm going to send this over WhatsApp. I forgot to get it sent in. So if you're a new participant, hang on here. All right, we gotcha. Okay, so this is the subject we're thinking about working with today, but that's pretty intimidating. The first thing I want you to look at is this and try to draw is this. Can you see this? So do you see, so a lot of the ways we think about trees and to think about how to sketch trees is to see the sort of pieces as they shift. So the first thing you know what, I might actually print this out quickly. But in the so I will go do that in the I will go do that. But
Leah,
yes.
But bit you said to draw first, is that going to be our main drawing or is that a practice on a separate piece of paper? This is a
practice on a separate piece of paper.
Got it, thank you.
So go ahead and get a separate piece of paper. I'm actually going to print this so you guys can see it big. Give me 1 sec. Actually, you can just walk with me while I walk over.
Yeah, are we going to use the lined paper or just the regular one?
The lined, oh, you mean, are we going to do a grid?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think we're going to, I think we're going to try not to do a grid today.
Okay.
So you can kind of choose how big to make your tree. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm over here and I will be printing out this so we can look at it big. And that's what I first remember about trees. What I first remember about trees is how much there was this movement, this organic, like it'd come towards you, it'd come back. Hold on just a second. I'm going to print this out and then we'll go back there. Yeah, let's practice with this one because I think this is really manageable. This is not going to come out as red for me, but it will, you'll be able to see it pretty clearly. Here we go. Come on, baby. So I think the challenge is that just like anything else, trees have this, they come forward and they go back. No, that's not what I wanted you to print. What are you doing here? That's strange. Try this one. Oh, I see. Oh, here it is. Okay, got it. All right, coming back over here so that you can look at this big. I can help you kind of structure it and we can start to practice this concept of breaking things up. So a lot of drawing is breaking things up into the composite shapes. Let's see. So we can take this guy. Yes, and if you want to, if you're already there, go ahead and start sketching these shapes. You'll see these are basically cylinders. And I'll do it with you. So does that already sort of help you a little bit understand what you might have been having problems with trees? Like,
Yes.
we think of this, we think of the trunk as one thing, but it's pieces depending on what direction it's coming towards us. And that changes all the time.
I think one thing is that we don't attach the branches like they're supposed to be attached.
Right, because you think of the branches as one thing. You don't think of the branches as organically moving. So think about it like a tree. So here we go. I'm drawing a, if you want to follow me, it's a little bit narrower at the top. It's the same problem, Sandra. You don't attach the branches because you don't think that the branches is something that you divide into pieces.
But because we put them like a right angle without being part of a trunk, you don't see that departure from the trunk very well.
Right. Notice, by the way, that I am drawing my circles of my cylinders. So my cylinders aren't always narrower, like this one's a little bit narrow at the top and wider at the bottom. So I'm drawing my circles first. It kind of helps me. This circle is a little bit narrower. Here we can't even see a circle. It's just a curved line. Yeah. So that's part of it. I think with drawing, what we've really got to do, what we've got to learn how to do in dealing with shape is to break things down into their pieces. Oh yeah, this is a good thing to copy because it's a good way of getting us. It's a little bit exaggerated, right? But it helps you get the point. There's a movement because the trees are going towards the light and they're growing over years. And at some points there's leaves blocking the way from the light. So the tree's moving this direction and other times it's going this direction. So the key is that you, just like, while you guys finish this, I'll explain this idea of perspective, right? When we're trying to show things going back, when we're trying to show things getting further away from us or closer to us on a flat surface, we have to draw them differently than we think about them. What do I mean by that? I mean, this road, right? This thing that we all learned to do when we were kids. I think we all learned to do when we were kids in school. I remember learning how to do it, right? You learned how to draw a road going away from us. Now we know that this road actually is not literally thinner here and wider here. And we also know that this road doesn't rise up, right, off the road. It's flat on the ground. But because we're using a flat surface, this is how the road, this is how anything going away from us appears. It's getting smaller as it goes away from us, and it's rising a little higher up the page. So the real tricky thing is to learn the language of how things look in it on flat surface versus to create the illusion of 3 dimensions, right? This is not 3 dimensions, it's flat. So how do we draw something with 3 dimensions when we can't go backwards and forwards? So there are 1 or 2 tricks that I remember learning in that class that I want to emphasize today as we start working on this tree. By the way, I also don't expect you to finish this tree necessarily. There's a lot going on here. We're just going to start and then you can finish as you like. But yes, go ahead and finish that. And if you want to, you can even add in the little like holes for the tree. You can add in as much detail as you want. Notice that these are varying sizes. And notice that they tip in varying directions. And notice that as something gets farther away from you, like this branch is going away from us, so it's a little wider at the base, and we can see the bottom of it. It's a little narrower at the top. Let's see here. Anybody's mind blown yet? It's a whole, so essentially drawing is a whole new way of thinking. I like to think about it kind of like doing a puzzle, or in a more complex way, say making an engine work, right? Anybody who is a wrencher Have you ever, I don't know if you've ever heard that term. I heard it recently because I had it. I met a guy who was helping me fix my car, and his right brain capabilities were just blowing my mind, right? Because they were so, because a wrencher has to be so visual the way a drawer does. A wrencher has to visualize things the way a drawer does to be able to draw them. So it's more like, and I thought, wow, taking an engine apart and putting it back together is a little bit like taking a subject apart and putting it back together. You can't think about what it is. If you think about what it is, you'll get confused, right? You'll get confused by your idea about what the thing is versus what is actually there. But if you look at it and you learn how to break it up into pieces that don't feel logical from a, this is a trunk, this is a branch. If you think about it more like, this shape is going this way, and then the shape goes this way, and then it goes this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. And there's kind of one more trick that you can employ as you're doing this. Let's just practice on this for a little while. As you're sketching this, the other thing I want you to think about is there are lines that you can draw that will show things going this way or coming back in. Let me see if I remember it correctly. I put them on the back of this. Nope, I did not put them on the back of this. I put them on the back of this. Right. So in a very simple way, if you're trying to show something going away from you, check this out. So if something's going this direction, a branch, it's moving away from you, you want to create curved lines that are going up like this. See that? And if you want to show something coming towards you, so do I have anything? I don't know if we have anything coming towards us in this particular sketch. You'll put them the other way. You'll put the line. So all of these branches are kind of moving back. They're moving away from us. So we can make these little curved lines that go up. And then if we want to show something going towards us, maybe I'll just add in a branch that's like going towards us. Let's see. Yeah, like this. So if I want to add an extra branch in here and I want it to be coming towards me. So say this is coming towards me. The lines go under like that. See that? So we draw curved lines scooping underneath, going this direction if we want to show a branch going towards us. And we draw curved lines going up if we want to show a branch going away from us. I find that helpful. Here's another sketch that might help you. I couldn't find like the exact sketch that I was looking for, but I did find this one in one of my favorite drawing books and I wanted to share it. By the way, for those of you who finished this sketch, go ahead and add some of the tree-like features in here. And if you want to, you can kind of also add these shapes that connect. I saw a really cool, I was looking at like how different people draw trees just to think about how they describe it. And one of those videos had a really great description about what he calls the T. So in showing how branches connect, let's see if I can sketch this in, right? This is kind of floating right now. There's almost a T or a shape like this, like a T shape at the base of each branch. See that? Where the branch kind of connects to the trunk. It's more like a L or a T. It's kind of a, I don't know how well all of them are T's. But when you look at how the branches attach to the trunk, there's this kind of T shape. So go ahead and you can make those lines a little stronger and strengthen that. It's so interesting to see how different people do things. I'm always impressed. But here, let me get this little piece so you can see this idea that I'm talking about with the lines curving forward and back. Let's see here, where are you? Oh, okay. Resending all of these for the people who just joined. Resending this. Here we are. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. For those of you who have seen this, but I see somebody else joined and I wanted to make sure they got all the things. Here we go. Nice. And as you're working on this piece and you have questions, you want me to take a look at it, go ahead and send that in. There's one other thing I want to do here with this piece. So you might want to add some of these lines here, right? Let's pretend that the light is coming from the left, the right side on the tree. So, which is what's happening with our tree right here. So let's add a kind of shadow area. Let's make it a little bit darker down here. Practice what that would look like. If the light is coming from the upper left, don't worry how you're making your shading marks. We'll talk about all of that stuff later. What we're really focusing on is shape right now. I know it's kind of a little bit darker. Be a little bit darker. Oh, there's a T shape there. Does this remind, who took figure drawing with me last year? We'll be going back again. Does this remind you of anything, Sandra, that we did in figure drawing? What is this like? What is this like?
Oh, the limbs, the human
Yeah,
limbs.
it's like drawing a human arm, right? It's the same issue. When you're drawing a human arm, and that's when I think for me, I made that click. So, right, so when you're drawing a human arm, also the mistake that we make when we don't know how to draw, right? When we're not into drawing, is to draw arms like this, right? With hands here and we wonder what's wrong. In reality, arms have a bend. They're joints. So here's the shoulder, here's the elbow, and here's the wrist. And just like this, if you really want your arm, you can't draw a straight line. You have to draw a set of cylinders that kind of round over these joints. Oops, sorry, a little bit far. I'll move this over just a touch so you can see that. So yeah, so that's just over here. You'll see that's like what a human arm looks like. So tree trunks are the same, except they're so much more varied because they're so much older than us, and they don't, this is not a skeletal structure. This is a structure that just keeps growing in, out, in, out. When you really think about it, you will spend a lot of time looking at trees and seeing how much, it's almost like they're belly dancers, sort of undulating. They've got an amazing movement. So I think I'm actually going to give you guys some options because we do have a couple of people who are very new here. Samantha, I'm not singling you out. You can totally do the big tree in the picture if you want to. But if you don't want to, you can also draw this branch, starting with this sketch and adding these things in. So you can kind of work on these drawings if you're finding the tree drawing too overwhelming, or you can start with this and then move to the tree drawing. So before we talk about shading, how to do leaves, yada, 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 before we talk about all that stuff, we've got to get these shapes and the concept of these shapes right. When you're looking at a tree from a distance, and you'll notice, if any of you take Marie's pastel class tomorrow, that often she has about 2 or 3 branch lines that have that look like this, right? So she's looking for the biggest ones and then following that those beautiful bends. right? What I see a lot of people doing, instead of looking at how those bends are, like, so in this particular case, right, you'd probably grab this bend, this bend, right? That's all you would probably do. You'd follow a couple of those bends. So you're trying to pick up the biggest bends in the tree. Sorry, I'm trying to make you do this. So let's just spend a few minutes here working on this, adding a little shade. I am debating over whether we should grid this tree. I feel like that might make people a little bit tight, and I'd like you to be able to feel like you can make the tree a little smaller, a little bigger. So I think we're going to try just to kind of eyeball it and see how it goes. If it goes badly, next week we'll grid the tree.
Also because it's a tree, so if it's not exactly right,
Exactly.
it's to look like a tree.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly right. Is everybody happily ensconced in this exercise for a second? Can I go pour myself another cup of coffee really quick?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
We saw what you were like yesterday without coffee.
Nice. Okay, and now I'm getting some ideas here. That's great, Mira. So now add your own branch. Add your branch, add another branch on this side, doing something different.
Okay.
Try it. Wonderful. Jane, great. Let me look at. Lovely. Yep, looking pretty good. Go ahead, you do that too, Jane. Add another branch. Make your T's, remember to make your T's kind of strong here.
Got it.
Olga, nice. Is that making sense? So is this making sense why we struggle with trees? We're trying to treat this thing like it's a straight, flat object, and it is not. It is an object that comes forward and backward. Who was it who said trees were kind of hard? Nina, yeah, this is why trees are hard, because it's like that road, but back, forth, back, forth. There's a lot of like back and forth coming. But if we think about it in terms of cylinders, it's a little bit easier. So give me 1 second, you guys. I'll be right back. Lovely. Nice, Claire. Yep. And see how those, see how these lines are kind of helping us directionally kind of go back. Here, wait, I'm looking for the, I just took a picture of it. Hang on. Hold on. Where is my? So Sandra, this is a little bit, this one, you're, oh, I see, you added a trunk onto the bottom. This
It's
is really
just
the
that-
bottom. And this is too small. So you see, you've got the, look at, these are both
I know,
basically
I
the
just-
same side.
It looks like it's been cut with a
Well,
chainsaw. I would
remember,
like to
this
do
is
the
not a real,
tree.
this is not, well, but what the changes that you made aren't helping make a real tree. The changes you're making, you're doing are creating a tree that looks like disjointed, like this piece doesn't connect to this piece. So they still have to be similar sizes. You can change this you can connect these pieces, but you still have to pay attention to, I mean, we don't have, these are connected together. So yeah. So this is where, Sandra, I want you to really, because you're so close to getting here, I want you to understand how to, you're still thinking about these things as separate pieces that are not connected. And we need to think, I know, but I want you to listen to me. These are, this is one trunk, right? Divided into pieces. So you've got to be able to see the pieces before you can replicate the shape. And I think you spend too much time thinking either piece or the whole thing, and you struggle to see how these guys connect, these pieces connect. So I want you to really pay attention to that when you're doing your shapes. You can change this tree, but don't change it here, because this doesn't, this is like an extra piece of trunk right here, right? That's this triangle.
I think I managed to fix it.
Yes. So just pay attention that you got to think about the thing that's next to the thing as well. You like that? You got to think about the thing that's next to the thing. We have to think about all the things.
That's a bit better, right?
Yes. Let me see. Yeah. Let's see. Nina, nice. No, it needs to be, Sandra, these sides, if they were to come together, need to be able to fit on top of each other.
Okay, I'll just wait for a real tree. Okay.
Why don't you try? Nice, Samantha. Good job. Nina, yes. Oh, I see. Sorry, Sandra. I was looking at your old one. No, that's great.
Oh.
You got it. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good. And I see Zaylee's tree. Very nice. Great work. Zaylee, you can actually add a little circle on the bottom. So here there's no circle, but up here there's a little circle, right? So there's a curved line. I'll talk about this for a minute, making cylinders. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'll be right back. Yeah, no, that looks much better, Sandra. That looks great.
Okay.
And very nice. All right. Hey, Zaylee, take a look up here. I want to show you something. When you're drawing a cylinder, right? Like, and this is the part of the cylinder that we can't see right here. You can draw, it's like drawing a cup. You can draw a little oval like this, and then an oval like this, and then draw lines to attach them together. Some cylinders, so in this particular case, here, there is a cylinder here. Here, I'll sketch it in, even though you can't see it. So the cylinder kind of shows us, right? That's where that cylinder is. So if you draw a cylinder here and here, it's going to help you get that shape right. I had a teacher, I lived in Eastern Europe for many years, and I studied with a lot of teachers there. And I had my favorite teacher, well, they were all my favorites, but one of my favorite teachers used to tell me, little Armenian guy who lived in a tiny village in outside Yerevan, the capital city, and I would take a rickety little bus ride to meet him at a hotel where they spoke English. He didn't speak any English. I didn't speak any Russian, and they would just translate for me as he taught me. And I remember when I went to him, I had been painting about, I don't know, 8 years. And my drawing was still pretty rough. It was pretty terrible. And he was like going to show me how to draw a skull. And then he saw me draw the skull and he went, yeah, no, coffee cup for you. We're going back to coffee cups for you. And he was the one who really pointed out to me, when we're drawing anything cylindrical, coffee cup, tree trunk, that there's the part that we see here, and then there's the part we don't see. That's here. And we want to draw both so that we make sure we get our volume right. So draw the thing that is invisible as well as the thing that is visible. Yeah, exactly. Practicing, that's exactly right. Yes, Zaylee. Yes, you're going to be an amazing drawer. I'm sure you already are. Oh, Hannah, very nice. Nice, nice. Good job, you guys. And adding extra branches. I like it. Yep, exactly. And the other thing that might help with this, and here I keep trying to get to it, and then people bring in drawings that present great problems here. Here, hold on. Let me focus for a second so I can get you this sketch. I like this. It's a nice cylinder drawing. It's not a tree branch, but it mimics a lot of things that a tree branch is doing. And
Oh,
Zaylee,
that's great.
yeah, right. So you can see, so look at what's happening here. So as it's going up, so we're standing here, as it's going up, our scoops and away from us, our scoops are getting longer. And then notice as it comes below eye level where we're standing, it changes to a scoop going this way. See that? So this is mostly straight. This gets a little curvier, more curved, more curved, more curved, more curved, more curved. So as you go higher up, it's not the same. It goes more curved. This is how we show perspective, things going up or down away from us. It's interesting, isn't it? So I want to give people some options here. If you want to, I'd like to very soon start, unless, are there questions, by the way? Because, oh, nice, Claudia. Good, 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 good. Excellent. Are you starting to feel it, the tree, the movement of the tree?
Yeah.
So we're going to be focusing on shape mostly in this case. So for those of you who don't want to do the tree, I would highly recommend that you do this branch that I just sent across, because it's a little bit more manageable. But for those of you who are kind of feeling ready, here, this branch here. So for those of you who are like wanting to get smaller and more focused and have a little bit more sort of guidance, I want you to start with the branch using the cylinders and then going in and cleaning up and adding the details. So Sandra, do you see how these chopped up pieces get turned? We add an outside line to them so that they don't look so chopped up anymore. So we connect them with these lines as you go up and down. So you can either do this, or you can start to draw this tree with me, and I'll start to break down some of these things for you. So options. And by the way, I really applaud this idea that you guys are turning off your screens. I know that we're all spending a lot of time, kids and adults are spending a lot of time, right, on the screen, on the Zoom screen, and we want to reduce Zoom fatigue. We also want to make sure that we see what each other is doing and connect a little bit. But to spend time focusing, it's good to turn your screen off if you want to. You don't have to. But if you want to, that is not a bad way, at least for parts of the class, so that you can focus and not be looking at the screen so much, but looking more at your drawing. So go ahead and do this. I'm going to get myself another piece of paper. I've already used up all my paper. And then I'll start to show you how to think about structuring this tree. And while I'm at it, I'll take a picture of, well, I think you guys pretty much have this. I feel like we've got this down and you've got a picture of it. So options here, lots of options. You can do the branch, or we can try to think about how to apply what we just learned to this tree. Here's my tape. So Nina, not only will you find that you start to understand the complexity of trees, you're going to become addicted to looking at them.
So I have a friend I have to send this to. I call my friend my art mentor in a way, because I always get a lot of critiques. So
yeah, awesome. Because this is, I know, it's like just thinking about how to break it down into ways that will help. And you become like, I remember this class like it was yesterday, because like you guys, I didn't learn to draw. I mean, I didn't start painting until I was 30 something. Just 10 years ago, no, 20 years ago, unfortunately for me. I didn't start painting until I was 30, and I couldn't draw at all. And I decided I wanted to paint, but I had to learn how to draw, and boy, was I not good at it. Not only was I not good at it, I really, not to be complaining here, I noticed that a lot of the artists whose classes I first took struggled to explain to me what was happening. So any sort of drawing principle I grabbed onto like a lifeboat. It was absolutely crucial for me to be able to learn to draw. So I remember all these pieces very clearly. And this class that I took with this wonderful artist, I can picture her, I can't remember her name. Like all we did was, for 6 weeks, we went out every week and went and sat under trees and drew them. And by the end, I was dreaming about trees, the shape of trees, the movement, the forward and the back. It was really incredible. All right, let's see, what can we do here? So let's start applying this principle. I promise, Sandra, I won't chop up the tree.
Leah, I'm looking at this tree in color, and just below where the leaves start, there's a broken branch.
Yep,
yes.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see. I'm going to sketch it in. It in so you can see it a little bit better. Let's see, can we see it here? I'm just looking to see what will be the color.
It's easier to see in color.
It is easier to see in color. Yeah, I know. And I picked this subject for 2 reasons. One, there are not that many branches. 2, there's a nice light source coming from the right, so it's very clear. And yeah, I like that branch coming forward. And in fact, we'll start by kind of, actually, really, I suppose if we want to be realistic, it's kind of like that. Like it's in a little sling. Yeah, and the tree trunk is fairly, I mean, it's really to here, it's pretty straight up and down, right? It's a pretty straightforward cylinder. I'll take a picture of this so you guys can see it better. And then we get the tip. So Sandra, here's where the tip comes in. See that? Right? And then the connection comes here later. So we start with that tip.
What's the tip?
This is the tip between the two. So what you were objecting to, what you didn't like about that sketch was that there was it looks like the tree has been cutting down. Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah. So this is tipping. I feel like, Sandra, you are feeling the pain of that tree. Like, oh no. All right. So we've got so I'm starting to sketch out the shapes here. You guys can just watch. I'm kind of trying to focus. Notice I'm kind of ignoring the leaf. Oh, okay. Well, let's do it like this. I'm ignoring the leaves right now because I want us to get the trunk shapes. We'll get the leaves in. This trunk you can definitely see going back. Right? If you look at the shape, you can tell it's going back. Here is a shape. Yeah, it gets a little tough to see. I'm just going to do the best I can here, and then up here. So I'm simplifying a little bit. And I'm going to ignore these branches for right now. And actually, what's really nice about this trunk thing, here, I'll take a picture of it, is that now it gives us kind of an outer shape for our leaves. So there's this big leaf patch. So one of the things that gets overwhelming for people is, do I draw one leaf? How do I draw all the leaves? And the answer to that question is you never want to draw all the leaves. Nobody. Well, there are people who do. There are artists who do, and there are groups of artists that do. I'm thinking in particular about a group of Croatian artists. Here, I'm going to actually draw this in green because I think it'll be easier to see. So that actually paint every leaf, and it's wonderfully beautiful, but insane. to try and manage to do it. For most of us, what we do is we look for clusters of leaves, we get the bigger shapes in, and then we start working the areas, just the parts of the leaves where the leaves meet up the background. So we don't paint, we don't draw every leaf. We draw and if we did, it would look weird. Our drawings wouldn't look right. Okay, so let me send out this picture of your beginning structured sketch. Is this helpful, you guys? Is this like helpful in terms of looking at the trees? Is this?
Yeah, it is. It is. I've never looked at a tree like this
Yes.
in my life.
Yeah, isn't it amazing?
Yep.
It's magic. All right, why is my camera not working? There we go. Oh, come here, you. I'm so glad, Sandra, I am so glad you suggested this, because there is a lot we can do. We're going to do evergreen trees. I was just walking around my neighborhood yesterday thinking, oh, we could do that tree.
So this is a tree you met in person?
This tree I did not meet in person. I grabbed this off of free, but the next trees that you get will be. And the other thing I wanted to tell you guys was that if you have a tree in your neighborhood, photograph it and send it to me. We can incorporate it into the lesson, or you can draw your own tree using the same technique. So yes, the next trees that if I pick them as a sample, will work that, will be that. I'm stoked. We made us spend the whole year drawing trees. We could totally do that. We could totally spend the whole, we're not going to spend the whole year.
We need to do animals too.
Yes, we do need to do animals, but let's spend some time with trees because they're so wonderful. Yeah, and that's what I kept thinking is as I was going along, I'm like, how can I pick one tree? I can't pick one tree. They're amazing. So I'll start this out. And once again, you guys, I want you to let go, A, of getting kind of perfect results in class, B, finishing this drawing right now. This is going to be a drawing. I'm hoping a beginning drawing to give you things that you can continue to work on. Even between lessons, you can totally text me on the beginning drawing thread and ask for help. And you'll notice not only will you get help from me, the whole group will help you. So let's see here. So I'm trying to circle this. So once again, I'm creating my, God, the voice of every teacher is in my head. I hear my Jacob Hovhannissian going, draw what is invisible and what is visible, right? So this is the same way we would draw a coffee cup. Even though we don't see this side, we would still draw it that way. Then this gets a little bit thicker. Yes. So in drawing, you'll probably notice, oh, nope, that's too high up. I noticed that because I could see that this line is very short. I might even actually put this line in so I get my, see, look at where I put my, it's easy to make things too big and put them in the wrong direction. That is totally okay to notice it. So that's happening, and then I can kind of correct it here. I can connect it here, rather. I kind of like seeing these shapes in there. They're kind of neat. We will also probably practice drawing a cup at some point because the cup is the basis for so many things. So when you're starting to draw, you're always like thinking, okay, here's this branch in front right now. It looks like a cast. I keep thinking it's like a cast. If I want to, I can sketch in this outer shape of the leaves here too. Right? So see how I'm literally just doing this little balloon?
Is it worth doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
You must. Because we need to get those shapes correct before we start working on the details of them. Also, this shape shows us where the leaves come against other edges that are important. So you'll get these, it'll help you place things in the right direction, in the right places, right? No, I haven't done any others. You'll see I haven't done any others, and we haven't done any of the branches because I'm sure. Yes, Zaylee, wonderful. I love it. Are you going to color it in? I hope you're going to color it in. And awesome. And Zaylee, if you want to make a slight correction to the cup, if you want any advice on that, I like it. I'm not saying but if you want to notice what's happening with the cup, you have your cup right here, the line going straight across like that. But in fact, the bottom of the cup curves like this. You are absolutely right. So when you draw your cup, you want to give it a curved line where it meets the table. So if you want to erase that line and do this curved line, that's more literally, or that's more how we see the cup, with a little curved line. Perspective. It's amazing how many people miss that. Even people who draw pretty well draw their cylinder shapes flat on a table, but because of perspective, everything looks a little rounded. Okay, yes. And then here, so let's see, I'm sketching. So this is still pretty loose. And I can see that happening up here. You can tell also that this kind of branch is going farther away too, because it gets smaller. I think I'm going to do it like this. So this is kind of this tree. Oh, I can see I'm not actually looking at this center here. Hold on, what's happening? Is it all trunk there, or is there actually a space? Not really. Kind of comes up like this and over like this. This trunk here in the middle has this split. And then here, there's like a space, kind of a nice little space. So if you can get used to this idea of drawing, you're going to be, I know it looks so weird, right? Here, I'll send a picture over so you can see it. But this is exactly the drawing. If you can get used to your drawings looking a little weird in this sort of truncated way, this is how to improve your drawings. And I think because the drawing looks so weird at this stage, it's hard for us to imagine. If you've finished this, but this is how we always, if you've noticed, if you've taken any more drawing classes, and by the way, for those of you who are new, who haven't taken classes yet, all of these classes are recorded. So every beginning drawing class that I've taught is on a YouTube channel, organized in the beginning drawing section. So you could go back and actually take all the classes during the week that you wanted to, just to help sort of build up your fundamentals. What did we do? The first class, we drew a lily. The second class, we drew, I can't even remember. What did we draw, you guys? What was our second class?
Cats, something hard.
The cats. The cats.
Yeah, oh, we did the Smurfa cats. The Ukrainian Smurfa cat and her kitten. That was really hard. Then I began realizing, step it back a little bit. And go ahead and send me a picture of this when you guys get it. By the way, we still have an hour. And by the way, I love it that we love having kids and family members join. So as long as they're in the same, you know, like, here we go. Nice. Not bad. This puff out here, Samantha, is that Samantha? Yes.
Yeah.
This puff out here is a little bit too wide.
Yeah.
You have it kind of more like this. Can you bring these in a little bit and flatten this down?
Yeah.
Nice job. Mira, not bad. Mira, bring these guys closer together and make it thicker. Make these a little thicker too. Yeah. Let's see. Good job, you guys. Olga, nice. Olga, I can see you're already feeling the shapes. So Olga, this needs to be a little bit, I'm just looking to see, does it? No, you can just extend over your your leaves a little bit this way. So this should be thicker. Really what's happening is the branch is coming down here, but we can't, it's not floating off the leaves, but we can't see it because the leaves are covering it. So you want to make sure, kind of bring this edge, make this a little thicker here. It does look like a hand. I know. Trees are magic. Not bad, you guys, not bad at all. And then our next step after this, for those who are ready, will be to start kind of connecting our trunk and adding some shading in on the right, on the left side, because you can see the left side. And this is an interesting point to figure out. I noticed I started drawing across, I started shading across immediately, but I'm not
it should
really,
be down,
it
right?
should be up and down.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a couple of different ways that you can shade. You can just go straight across like this, up and down, right? Scribbling across. Or this would be a wonderful place to try something called cross hatching. Cross hatching, I'll show you, is right here. It's where you just put several lines this way and then several lines this way. And if you want to go darker, you just keep going back and forth. Wait, can you guys here? Watch. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? You can do cross hatching and then go across and then just keep going across again. So the darker you want to make it, the more you go back and forth. So this is also a fun place to try cross hatching for on the dark side. And if you want to make it lighter, you can make it less. And then if you want to add these little things happening down here, you can also erase these circles. So start looking. We also have a shape of the tree branch out here. It's a little hard to see right now because I've covered it up. You may have to go back to the original source to see it, but there's also a connection here. So we can start connecting these outer branches, and then where we, like here, I can erase this. I can erase these lines because once we have the lines and the shapes, we don't need them anymore. Right, and it's fairly dark here. I'm not really dealing with the leaves yet. We'll get there. We can't see much of this, the branch here. It's mostly covered with leaves, but let's still kind of. We can still add the edges here as dark. Here. So Samantha, how's everybody doing at BuzzFeed these days? Feeling a little better? Because things aren't so crazy.
Yeah, it's a little calmer now.
Just a little. Okay, I'm getting rid of my lines here.
Leah, can you zoom out a little bit?
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry. Yep, you're right. Sorry. There we go. Of course. Looks kind of, I'm going to take this off for a second and see if I can wipe off the camera. It seems a little bit. Let's see if that's better. A little bit fuzzy this morning. Maybe I can bring this down a little bit. Yeah, that's easier to see. Hang on, sorry, still, it's a constant. As the light changes in the studio, I'm constantly having to shift over how to look. What's the best viewpoint? Of course, I can also, here, let me finish it really quick, and I can also take a picture. Interesting. So what I grabbed was a 2H. If for those who are looking at the sort of numbers on their pencils, at this phase, you don't want to go too heavy and dark. You don't want to go, remember the B's, the higher the number, the darker and heavier it is. You want to be careful not to go too dark.
Or like 2B.
Yeah,
or
like a
4B.
2B for the moment. You can go back in with darkers later once you want to go back and sort of strengthen the darks in some areas, but you want to be able to kind of erase. So this is pretty. Now I feel like, oh, wait, do I have another? Now I feel like I want to make one more printout of this because these lines are getting in the way. Actually, I think we could just go to the camera. What's on our camera? For those of you who want to, if you're at a point, you can add these smaller branches. Same way, right? Like with little cylinders. Notice these make a little triangle. You can't really see it in the picture because I can't seem to get here. I'll put this over here. There we go. There we go. So you can see there's like kind of darker branches here. And you can do that same thing of like cylinders, and every time there's a shift, pay attention to the negative space. Negative space is the space between the objects. Strengthen the bottom where the branch meets the other branch with the little T here, right? Strengthen that bottom, make that a little bit darker. And heavier. So for those of you who are finished, go ahead and add some more branches. You don't have to, you're going to find you're not going to need to do every one, but add as much as you think you need. I always start with the bigger pieces first, and then as I start adding more elements, I realize how much do I actually need. Maybe I don't need any of these branches at all. This branch is probably going to be important. It's pretty big. So I just start with the biggest pieces first. And this kind of comes like that. And then it comes in like this. So see, I'm really trying to follow the organic movement of this branch. Is really amazing. It's really remarkable if you think about it. How like long this takes. And then it's darker along the bottom and it's lighter on the top. Some of these littler branches are important, some are not so much. Actually, we're getting.
Oh, can I ask you a question? Eventually,
Yeah.
do people stop drawing trees like this and just it goes naturally over time?
Do they what? No, you always think about, well, what happens eventually is you understand the organic shapes more, so you can focus more on the outlines.
Okay.
But yeah, you guys aren't close to being there yet. That's a many-year thing. That's a multi-year thing. So yeah, what eventually happens is you start to really see, that's a really good question. So what eventually happens is you start to see those shapes. If you watch Marie Sangath, the other teacher, art teacher who teaches tomorrow at about the same time at 9 o'clock Portland time, you will see that when she draws her trees, she focuses on this outer shape, but she really understands the movement, the outer shapes of the thing. So yeah, you don't have to do so much inner construction. But at the beginning, it's really important so that you can start to see, because we make things too thin, too wide, right? We don't really think about the thickness of the thing. I very often use these when I'm sketching trees, not all the way through, but like a few pieces. What you have to do is, learning to draw is a language, right? Like learning French or learning German or English, right? Learning any language. You have to learn. After a while, you're going to get, there's a translation that has to happen when you're showing 3 dimensions on a flat surface, right? The simplest example of that is this. Another simple example is this, a cube, right? We all learned how to draw a cube, so most of us know how to do it. And you'll notice, I mean, in reality, every single one of these sides is equal, literally, but that's not how it looks to us. So when we're on a flat surface, we have to learn what happens. We have to learn to translate shapes, 3-dimensional shapes, and how they would look on a flat surface. Once you get better at that, you're more able to kind of see those outer lines, and that will become natural, strangely, believe it or not. And then you'll be like, how could anybody do this any other way? How could you do, like most people, I think, who teach themselves to draw kind of go straight to the detail, draw details out. They'd go to the leaves, they'd start drawing out the leaves. Maybe they'd go to the trunk, they start drawing the leaves out. And there's so many ways you can go wrong there, right? There's like so many ways. So yeah, but you will find you'll get better. This will feel more natural to you as you get more. That's my goal in these classes, is to have you do enough things so that you start to see how we apply this pattern to everything of outer shapes. That was probably a really long answer to a question that didn't need that long an answer.
Helpful, thank you.
I'm very passionate about this. I feel like drawing is something everybody should learn to do. And if they did, we would have a different world. That's how much I believe in it. That's how much I think everybody should. And I also think most people have the desire to draw, and they've just never been taught. And so it's a kind of, it's this kind of last stand. Oops, sorry, I'm starting and I shouldn't start. It's this last stand, right, where you want so badly to draw, and then you think, I just can't do it, because you don't know how to think about it, right? And it's a sadness that we want to draw, like, and so I really like that feeling of showing people what drawing actually is. It's a whole intellectual skill, and you will find for a while your verbal conceptual, your left side of your brain, is going to fight you. It's going to fight what you think you're seeing. It's going to tell you you're seeing something that you're not seeing. But after a while, they start to work in tandem, and it's beautiful. Like learning to draw made my thinking power much more, my analytical thinking power much more clear. One way I like to look at it is, I spent 10 years after I was a journalist before I became an artist. By the time I was 30 and had started painting, I had worked for Time magazine in Hong Kong, covering the handover to China. I'd had a fellowship teaching journalism in Mongolia, the Knight Fellowship. I had worked for small daily newspapers all over the US. And one of the things that I noticed, because I spent another 10 years doing journalism part-time while I was learning to paint, draw and paint, is that my lead writing got really tight. Like I never struggled. I never struggled with the structure of a story, and I never struggled with the writing of a story again. Now, that might be partly because in the second 10 years, I was a better writer than in the first 10 years. But I also feel that engaging the right side and learning to do this helped me. There's a visual aspect to seeing what a story looks like, how long it is, where the pieces fit, that really helped me not struggle so much with the writing process. So it's funny, for a long time I used to try and prove that, and in fact, the first class I taught to journalists, which was a Reuters class in New York 4.5 years ago, one of the reporters had been struggling on a massive story that she was working on human trafficking in Africa. And she came in and she did that lily, she drew that lily, and then she was totally blocked. She couldn't figure it out. She came in, she spent an hour drawing the lily, and as she described it to me, it was hard. I had to really focus on drawing the lily. And then she went out, her writer's block was gone. She wrote her story and it was nominated for a Pulitzer. So results not typical. I think there's something about this process that helps clarify and clear the mind for other intellectual tasks. I used to try want to prove that. Then I realized nobody cared. You're all good enough writers. You don't, for those of you who are writing or doing your job, you already do your job well enough. It's not like you need improvement in that. Well, I mean, except beyond the ways we all need to improve. But what I found for most people was it's the pushing, the skill, and then the relaxation that comes as you start to get into the zone. Let me take a picture. What did I do with my, here it is. Let me take a picture of this so you can see where it is. Let's see. Jane, not bad. So yeah, go ahead. Claudia, not bad. Good job, you guys. So now just start to clean this up. Let me get you a new, oh, hi, Jean. When did you get here? Here, I'm gonna take this down for just a second. Here we go. So you guys can see, hi, Jessica. Oh my gosh, you guys have just quietly slipped in and doing your thing. Nice. Olga, nice. I love it already. Oh, that's wonderful. I love the cup. Great correction. Nice, Nina. Oh, Jean. Oh, right. They're not here. They are in, well, I mean, nobody's here really. Great. Okay. We have a couple of students in another class who just texted me because they're out drawing at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York. I'll send you what they're working on. Yeah, good. Good. Samantha, nice work. Are you surprised at yourself? Are you like happy? I mean, I don't know how much drawing experience you have, Samantha, already.
None.
None. So are you
Yeah.
are you pleased with yourself? It's kind of nice, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like that
yeah.
things look better. I mean, I know it's still in the awkward phase. And actually, this might be a point at which I will talk a little bit about. Let's see. We'll talk about leaf shapes. I'm looking for major light dark shapes. I'm also looking for major leaf shapes. So you'll notice that we will work on leaves in clusters. And then that each cluster, there are areas where light meets dark. I actually might print this again because I want you guys to really be able to see what these leaves are doing. Give me 1 second here. I know you're all still working a bit. Let's see here. I was thinking about doing something without leaves, but I thought, so still.
It's nice to know what to do.
It's nice to know, at least to start to practice that, right? Even if we don't get very far. Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Desktop. Okay, I'm going to print this out one more time. Yeah. I know we also have it on the WhatsApp thread, but it's kind of nice to for me to be able to point to some bigger areas. So let's do that. Oops, darn it. Well, you know what? My printer jammed, so I'm going to have to show you on the small one anyway. That's all right. That's where we need to be working anyway. Okay. Oh, I can maybe share the screen with you. Here. All right. That's what we'll do. So I'm going to open this and then turn it. Come on. So here is, let's stop for a second and take a look so I can talk to you about here. I'm going to share the screen so we can look at this photo for a minute. And I have this in color. I'm going to turn it into a black and white, but I wanted to do that in front of you so you can notice how the values shift. So what I mean by values is, let's see, I want to edit this and I want to turn it. The quickest thing to do is just to do a filter, black and white filter. So it's almost black and white. So notice that those green leaves, really? Okay. That's not what I want. I just want you to look at it. So can you guys see it dark, like black and white, basically?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Or maybe, let's see, I can try this one. That's more sort of truly black and white. Actually, it becomes harder to see this branch here. So maybe we'll go back to this one. Now let's go back to this one. All right. So notice how light these leaf groupings kind of appear against this dark background. So what you're going to do, and I will circle them and show them to you, is you're going to, within each cluster of leaves, instead of drawing every leaf, you're going to look at areas like right here, where there's a dark shape around this cluster. And that's where you're going to kind of create the shaping of your leaves. You're not going to be drawing all the leaves in here. You're going to be looking at where a cluster of leaves, light leaves, meets a dark area. And then you're going to kind of take your dark in to sketch out the shapes of your leaves. It's the same thing happening here, right? This is a cluster of leaves. So where I'm really focused is where these dark, I kind of want to create my leaf shape, not every leaf back in here, but where I really want to create my leaf shape is where these leaves are meeting the sky. So that's how we're going to start. And actually, maybe this would be a better thing for you guys to look at. Is this helpful to look at as you're starting to do that? I can start to sort of do that. Actually, maybe what I'll do, for a minute, I will demonstrate, and then I'll have you try it. So what that looks like is, I still need to look at the picture. What that looks like is, where's my pencil? I can start adding, so two things are happening. One is I can start adding in lighter lines, right, to kind of show my tree getting lighter. So that's the branches getting lighter. That's part of it. Down in here, I can see that it's quite dark down here at the base. And then it kind of gets a little bit, the shape kind of changes around the edge like this. And it's dark here. And then it's kind of a little bit lighter up here. But then more importantly, I'm going to start sketching in. Can you guys see this? You can all see this, right? On my spotlight.
Yep.
Good. All right. So now I'm starting to kind of bring my background in to create leaf shapes in here. So there's a kind of dark area here. I'm shaping in this cluster. There's a dark area here. So you see, I'm almost shaping the leaves from the outside in. And then I might do a little shading of the leaves here. And I might do just a couple of sort of circular shapes here, but really my focus is on creating a kind of a value. So I'm kind of creating a medium value shape, but mostly where I'm working is here. Now I'll move around, right? So I might have a little bit of leaves coming off here. Like that. Now I'm going to move up to this cluster. So this cluster kind of looks like this shape to me. And then where I'm paying attention to my leaf shape is kind of in bringing my dark in. I know it's tedious, believe me. It's not
It's not as tedious as doing the leaves.
Right, every single leaf. So you're going to start. Well, that's a good point, Sandra. So like, that's right. It's like not as bad as like doing every single leaf. So you're really working. I'm just looking at clusters here as I'm kind of moving
So
up.
you go dark around the shape.
Yeah, I go dark around the shape and pull it in. And then I kind of see how I'm kind of bringing in this mid-tone shape. And I might bring a little bit of line work in here, but I'm not going to draw every leaf. I'm more looking at where the leaves are meeting the background. So here I might, so there's a shape here, right? That's kind of mostly leafy. That's the shape here. And so now I'm going to come in. What am I going to do? All right. And actually there's also interesting, you can see so much more.
When you look.
Yeah, when you're looking in this dark, oh, I see. Sorry. This tree went up further. Nope, wait, sorry. I was looking at the whole tree and really this tree gets cut off a little bit. So let me cut it off. The other thing I'm going to do before I put it up is crop it so that it's at the right. So I was like, that branch isn't there. Wait a minute. The tree is actually about here. Okay, yes. I don't want to, annoying, okay. We'll just hold it like this. So now
you don't even draw one or two leaves.
I do some leaves, but like not too many. I'm more focused on getting the clusters in first, and then I'll go back in, right? And like kind of getting the detail. So you see how I'm kind of like sketching out this shape. And then I see that this is kind of a little bit darker. So back here, so here in a couple of places, I might have like a tree, but mostly I just kind of make it a little bit darker. And then there's a little bit of this lighter. There's a few of these lighter leaves in a cluster coming in. So here I see, I guess, what do I see? I see 1, 2, 3. I'm shaping out the kind of clusters as I see them within. There's 1 or 2 shapes that come up here. 1 that comes over here. Damn, there's a lot of leaves on this tree. There are a lot of leaves on this darn tree. There's a little bit of trunk coming out here. Sorry, guys. As long as this is a practice for you, right? So I'm looking at this shape. This is kind of a big clump like this. So where I'm kind of going to start working are these areas in between. So these areas aren't going to stay white. They're kind of a little bit more medium in tone. What's going on? But I'm really working on my shapes behind them. And I'm going to put this up so you can see it. I'm going to now do the share so you can see it. I'll keep working on this a little bit and take a picture and send it to you. But I think it's going to be more helpful for you to actually look at the tree without all my markings on it. Try not to get overwhelmed. Here, hold on. All right. So hold on here. Share the screen. So here is the tree. Got that? I think that will help at this point. Try not to get too overwhelmed. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot, Leah. Try not to get too overwhelmed. Thanks a lot. There are some neat little holes in here, like kind of tree holes, right? Sky holes here that we can bring through. Remember, it doesn't have to look exactly like what's happening. So I'm kind of making this whole thing darker. And then I can go in with my eraser and also pull out some sky holes, get some shapes. Here, hold on. I just went over this whole thing. If you can still see my, I know my thing isn't as big, but if you can still watch me here, I'm still working. I'm kind of darkening this whole tree leaf area that's right here. I'm darkening this whole area, and then I'm going back in with my eraser and pulling out some lights and then making kind of hard leaf shapes around them. I might want to add a few shapes internally, but I don't have to do so much. Oy. And then of course there's what's happening with the trunk as well, right? So we've also got a kind of, anyways, we don't have to finish this today. So this is a wonderful drawing that we could work on all week. You could work on in little pieces all week. Hold on. So let me take a picture of this. I'll see. Oh, Sandra, nice. Yep, starting to happen. Very nice. Are you using graphite? Is
Yes.
that how you're so you're just, are you smudging with one of those
With
little...
a Kleenex.
Wonderful. Take a look at how Sandra's kind of working these areas.
I'm used to smudging because of pastels. I usually use my finger, but graphite doesn't like fingers.
Yeah, you know, if you can get one of those little, like, they're called a tortellini, I think. I can never remember.
Tortillon,
Yeah,
tortillon.
tortellon.
But I find Kleenex is almost better.
Right. Yeah, Kleenex works just fine. I'm the same as you. Okay, so I sent out mine in the shape it's in right now. It's not fantastic. I'll keep working on it, but I think it might be better for you guys to actually see the tree up close. And in any event, as you're kind of moving from areas, so you can go in and start light, you know, adding in your kind of medium tones. You can maybe add in some dark branches as you're doing it. You can start to expand outward. Remember, this is a practice. So more the idea is we kind of get lost in the tree for a little while. And these shapes, which layer in on each other, get complex. Don't put pressure on yourself to make this perfect. There's a whole group of leaves over here. Try and pick out the clusters of the leaves. I'll promise to pick a better, easier tree next time, you guys. I'm sorry.
Actually,
It's a lot.
This one could have been harder, but it just.
It's got a lot of
We
leaves.
always have too many limbs. Don't we?
Yeah, good point. So we might as well start up talking about how to handle that, and then I go back in and out with my eraser quite a lot. You'll also find that you have a way of like making marks that's going to be very unique to you. Nobody's going to handle these leaves exactly the same, which is kind of neat about it, about the process.
By the way, Leah, I've kind of lost the plot. How many clusters of leaves have you got?
I mean,
3?
probably in this front section, there's
should be-
probably 4.
Right.
Here, I'll take a picture and send it over. It is easy to lose the plot. Here, I'll take a picture of this up close. It's kind of these green, where the green markings are.
Thank you.
Hold on. But let's see. Tomorrow, we're going to be working on, in pastel art, we are going to be working on this beautiful picture of Mount Rainier that Marie took on her last hike. Let's see. Mira, let's take a look. Oh yeah, Mira's starting to get there. So Mira, this area down here, so this area here, I'll point on the share screen. This area here,
Okay.
you want a little bit more leaf shape here, because right now, do you see what I'm saying? Like that's where we want to like, so work that edge is basically, and then you can start working this edge, kind of this edge here. So yes, so that there's more detail, then you'll start to feel it. But yeah, like I said, this is going to be a process.
It's hard.
It's a lot of work. There's a lot of work, but hey, it's like, this is for relaxation, right? And think about how much you're learning in this process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like how much we're learning about structure, about shape. This would be so much easier to paint than draw.
Yes.
Yeah, so for those of you who are new, we have classes on, so Mira, we have classes on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. So that would be 7 o'clock your time.
Yep.
Thursday, it would be 5 o'clock your time, 6 o'clock New York time. Friday is 8 a.m. But those guys, there's the schedule that I've sent out is has got the list of all the different time zones and when classes are.
Okay.
So you should catch up on some of those. Those are all painting. Yeah, those are all painting classes. If you like painting at night and you like working during the week, those are fun.
I'll definitely join. Yep. And this is very relaxing.
Yes. I love the sound of the pencil. Just scratching away. Somebody was asking me what these classes are like. I'm like, it's kind of like an extended knitting circle. Like everybody's
really?
hanging around working on stuff, maybe chatting a little bit.
You've been in a knitting circle?
A knitting circle, I have. I'm a terrible knitter, but I have. I don't have the patience. I'm not a good 3D person. I don't do so great with 3D work. I'm very in love with the 2D surface. I love all the problems that represents, and 3 dimensions is not my gig. I mean, it doesn't mean I couldn't do it. It's just right now in this moment, I get a lot of, I definitely prefer 2 dimensions over 3. Let's see. Ooh, Sandra, very nice. So yeah, just keep work. Yeah, I really like how these edges are, I love how your edges are coming out here, Sandra. So just keep, now that once you've got them in, just keep working them.
Okay.
Yeah, just they look
I have many
wonderful.
more. By the
Yeah,
way,
there's so many.
You know the branch on the left?
Yes.
It kind of goes
It kind of
straight
goes
up, then back down. I'm having trouble rendering.
It's going like it's actually what it's really doing, and I kind of missed that in this picture. There's a extra piece. It's kind of going like this. It's kind of going, and I missed that because I couldn't see that in the draft. It's going, it's here.
Going up and then left, but away from us.
Yes, yes. So it's going like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's probably
where you're
going. Are you looking at the draft? Can you see my arrow
Let me
on the
get
picture?
out.
So look at the actual picture of the screen share. And I'll show you.
Okay, here, right.
Right. So watch. It goes like this, this, that, and that.
But see that movement you just made, it's actually left but away from us. And it's I find it very difficult to
3, 4. Well, but remember, it doesn't matter. Like the away from us is not as much of an issue as 1, 2, 3, 4 is the zigzag. It's the shape of the zigzag. Don't try to wrap your mind too much around whether things are going forward or backward. Focus more on this movement. 1. So cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3, cylinder 4, which is not what I drew. So you're welcome to stay with what I drew. But if you want to get what's actually happening, 1, 2, 3, 4, that will help you see it. Yeah, your mind will bend trying to understand it's going this way and then it's coming towards us and then it's going better just to look at the outer shape or simplify it like I did. But if you can see it, really good point. Yeah, it's funny, like with perspective issues, you have to bend your ideas of reality, but not too much because your mind will break. Does that make sense? Like if you think too much about it, you'll just it'll cause a total brain freeze. So that's why I like this cylinder idea, because it spends less time talking about back and forward and more about up, down, left, right, because that's where you can go on a flat surface, right? You can go up or down, left or right. That's all you got.
Right.
I'm finding it harder this week without the grid. When
absolutely.
I compare it to those tulips last week.
Absolutely.
I found the structure of the small squares made it a bit easier for me.
Yeah. So I can add that the next time if you want me to. I thought we would be spending so much time kind of focused on, absolutely, because you're still getting accustomed to how big things are or small.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll make sure, I will make sure that Claire, that I put those in for future classes. But I think this is a simple enough shape that and it's organic, so it doesn't have to be exactly the same and it still looks right. Notice that your eye you're probably noticing that you're making things too big, and you're not really thinking about like the shape here, right? Say as much as the shape. What happens is we tend to focus on what we're drawing and not thinking about what's around it. And the grid helps you see what's around it a little bit easier. Yeah, this is super hard. Now that we're almost through and you guys are doing a great job with it, I can tell you this is not an easy thing. so I'm totally proud of you all, because it's quite an interesting subject to tackle. And this is what I mean by let it go. Let go of your, how do I put it?
Your concept of a tree.
Your concept of what's happening versus what's really happening, right? Like the shapes versus really that's what's happening. So just notice that there's these breaks in reality between what you think you see happening and what's really happening. And we're practicing, we're learning.
So, Leah, these clusters still don't look like leaves whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's
You
because
may
we haven't
need
gotten to the other bit, right?
We haven't really gotten to the other
Okay.
areas yet.
Okay,
It's
fair
just,
enough.
yeah.
We can do that next time.
Yep.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah, we will spend our whole time just getting the outer structures in place.
Because this is useful for drawing
Well,
anything.
It's useful for drawing anything, but also for drawing a tree. This is how you're going to do it, right? So leaves are really second stage. They are second stage in the process. The first stage, which is our first 2 hours, is really how do I get everything in the places? Where are the clusters? Where are the dark? What's happening around the edges of the clusters?
Can you show us your clusters, please?
Yeah, they're not very good right now. I've been mostly looking at other people's stuff and not working on mine.
Okay, because I've got
So you
4.
have it actually. So you have it actually. Let me work on mine a little bit, and
Okay.
while you're working, and I can show you a little bit more.
Oh, Lottie, what is it?
What we're really looking for are the things.
Oh, poor Lottie, not at
What we're really looking for are the things that are going to quiet our mind, right? Like that's what we're. All right, so I've got, there's. Yeah, maybe we'll just spend another week on this tree. Although if somebody joins new, they won't be able to. So perhaps we'll just spend some time.
So you know the cluster at the bottom right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
So around it is actually lighter rather than darker. So we shouldn't go darker around it, right?
Right. Not around that part. Now you
Okay.
can start. Now you might want to try a few leaf shapes. That's just what I was working on when you were coming in, sort of around the edge. So you might actually try kind of a full outline leaf shape in a few areas.
Can't even tell what shape they are.
Yeah, I know. Just do your best.
Oh, I see. On the left, you can see a bit better.
Yeah.
It looks like an oak, possibly.
I think it is an oak.
That's my guess too.
Yes. We have some tree watchers here who know more about trees. All right, so there's that one. There's this one.
Yeah, I gotta go. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow, babe. Send it in if you want to. Was that helpful?
Yeah, it's just so hard.
There's a lot. Yeah, the idea is not necessarily even to finish this drawing. So don't feel pressure. It's just to get absorbed in the process, right? It's just to get absorbed in the process. So you guys did great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lovely. Great. Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So now I'm finding myself around this right cluster, kind of drawing more outside lines and shading them in kind of a medium color. I noticed that like one side of the cluster is sort of darker. The leaf cluster is darker. Another is lighter. So I'm even looking at what's kind of happening within the clusters in terms of transitions. You might also start to make some leaf shapes within your clusters. Once you get those kind of outer clusters defined, they don't have to be all of them. You're not drawing every leaf, but you might draw some inner shapes that seem to mimic the direction that the leaves are going. So I could show you guys where I'm at. We're almost at the stopping point anyway. I'll take a picture of this and send it across the thread so you've got it. Uh-oh. I don't want reflection. All right, so this is coming across. Let's stop here. I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to remove the spotlight. Let's go into gallery view. I'd love to see you guys for a second. Show your faces for a second. Yeah, send over what you're working on. The first thing I want you to notice is how you feel now versus how you might have felt at the beginning of class. And if anybody has any observations about that, If you notice a difference, try to put in words what it is.
Focused.
Jane is smiling. You look relaxed.
I thought somebody said hopeless.
Hopeless?
No, I
Who
said
said
focus.
focus? Focus, not hopeless.
I bet you she's drawing all the leaves.
Yeah, right? Go ahead and hold up your drawings at kind of where they are right now. Mine's kind of a mess at the moment. I don't really have a lot of definition or detail.
Yeah, I just
yet.
erased all my leaves again.
Yes, so don't worry about that. Wonderful. Sandra, the structure of that is great. Hi, Hannah. Nice to see you. Yeah, hold them up. Beautiful, you guys. Like wonderful work. Olga, hold your pieces up so we can see them. Hold them up. I know, Nina. I
Mira,
don't
we
think
can't see it.
She's
Oh, you can't see?
Yeah, hold it up.
Higher, please.
Higher.
Can you hold it up higher? Oh, great, very good.
Yeah, I
Yes.
actually started another one, like just to try it with all the cylinders, and it's much more easier to do it with in this way with cylinders.
Yes.
Really?
So much easier to do it with cylinders. Yes. Yes. Wonderful, you guys. Wonderful. Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough, yours looks like a heart. Let's see. Oh my God, that's beautiful. Wonderful. Very, very nice. You're getting there. You're getting there. So notice, like, so remember that a lot of these classes, I'm still figuring out what we can do in 2 hours. Maybe I wouldn't have picked something with so many leaves for a beginning, but I think we got the point, which is to kind of get the structure of the tree, to get the shades, right, to get that shape, to get that organic movement, not this spike, you know, of colors. So I think we're starting to get there. We'll spend more time with trees. If you guys see a tree that you like, snap a picture and send it across the thread. We'd love to have it, right? So notice, and notice how like quiet and focused everybody got.
Yep.
Great work today, everybody. I'll see you.
Thanks, Leah.
Yes, and this will be, so remember, there's a class tomorrow, Pastel Landscapes.
Okay.
And this video will be up shortly on the YouTube site.
Okay.
All right,
Thanks,
you
Leah.
guys. See you
Thanks,
later.
everyone.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Leah.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.